Hello, last homely house. Here we are again, and today is Saturday, the something of November 18th, maybe. And I've had a busy week, and I thought I'd talk to you about my busy week before I go on to have another busy week next week. God, just no let up, is there? And so if you follow me over on Instagram, you'll see that I have spent the last few days doing a basket making course up in North Northumberland, up in Wooler, which is beautiful. I've never been to Wooler. Oh, come on. It's almost Scotland, not quite. And it's a really pretty place, and it's got a fantastic community centre-y place, which is where this basket making course was being held. It was someone called Anna Turnbull, and she's a very patient teacher. And it was 2 days, which at first I thought, oh bloody hell, what are we doing 2 days of this for? But actually you need 2 days. So okay, I don't think this is going to be very conducive to cat on knee, but I made this basket, which is for putting wool in, and so it's been pressed into action straight away. But this basket was my first ever basket. Come on, Norma, this is Norma. You're going to have to either sit still or go down. I don't mind which. So this basket then, which has got this is easy, all this, when you're shown how to do something. It's actually really kind of straightforward. It doesn't bear close examination, so I'll move it a little bit further away, because this is... well, I'll show you the second basket in a second. The second basket, the bottom of that one's worse than this one. And I got back from Wooler and found that the order that I'd made to somewhere called Wildcraft for some roving to spin into new yarn had arrived. And so there's that one, and then there's one somewhere with a bit of pink in. No, I'm lying about the pink. There isn't one with pink in. No, because that's blue, isn't it? So there's quite a lot of blue and yellow and green, which, well, they smell great. They really do. But you see, I made this basket to put wool in, and then wool arrived. That's perfect. It's going to be a basket for spinning. It's also really sturdily made, so it'll be a basket for really quite heavy things as well. And never having made a basket, I was actually pretty thrilled with this, but that's the testament of a good teacher, isn't it? I think so. So, because it was 2 days, we got to make a second basket, but I didn't quite finish mine, second one. So all this, yes, I thought you might have to go now. Go on. She's 16, that cat. Not conducive with basket making. So with this one, I thought I'd sit and chat to you and trim these extra spokes off and drink coffee and chat. So I'm sitting in the kitchen today. It's actually really rather a nice day. But I'm going away later, visit my nephew and his family, and so I'm going to do this, if I can do this. So basically it's secateurs, and you snip them off, and I'm just going to go around and do that very thing. Now, this basket has got 2 colours in, as you can see, and that's willow with its bark on, and this stuff here is willow. It's called buff, and it's willow with its bark off. This will make really nice kindling for my little wood burning stove over there. So I thought I'd just trim this back a bit, because I've been wanting to do this, but I thought, no, I like chattering on and doing something at the same time, so I thought we'd do this. Oh, knocking over the cups. And so basically you just take this. What I'm really enjoying about this basket making malarkey is you don't need really loads of tools. A pair of secateurs, and she had some big sharp bodkins, which were fierce looking. In fact, I cut my finger. Terrible student, you know. Which is going to be the student who cuts their finger? Me. Not badly, just enough to get blood on my basket. So you don't need much kit. And you've seen the size of my garden. If you've seen any more of these, I'm going to plant some willow. It's not like I want to be a basket maker or anything, but it will be really nice to be able to make a few more baskets from my own willow. So I'm going to plant some willow that's really nice colours, so that you can, well, not just willow, you can make baskets out of all sorts, I'm discovering. So I'm just cutting this back, and if you cut this carefully, you can actually make a decorative element out of the cut edges, which, you know, I'm not sure I'm doing. So it's been a very, very busy few days. In fact, it's turning into the busiest autumn ever for me, because I'm up and down to Lancashire, where my parents live, a fair bit to help with them, as you know, things aren't great there, but you know, they're doing really brilliantly. Soon it'll be their wedding anniversary, when they will be celebrating 73 years of marriage, which is pretty amazing, isn't it? And so I've been doing that, and then up the opposite end of the road, up to Wooler, I went to stay with my friend Sue, who is the person I used to work with, and she it helps me with my bees. She's my beekeeper friend, and also my spinning friend and my craft friend. And so she and I look for different courses that we might enjoy, and then sign us both up. It's really good. So I've done some interesting things with her. In fact, we're investigating a weaving course next year, so that I can use quite a lot of my hand spun. Because it's all very well spinning. I like spinning a lot. This is my own spun yarn that I knit into this cardigan. But you end up, if you like spinning, you end up with quite a lot of wool. So anyway, I've researched this weaving course that we might do next summer. Okay, so that's all the top ones cut off. There. And now I've got these little siding ones to cut off as well. So they just trim back to the basket, and the actual weave itself holds them in. So there's a little bit of a sticky outy bit here, which I need to get rid of as well. So I'll get rid of them. And then this was this basket I made on the second day. I made that basket with the handle on the first day. Well, that was I don't know quite what I'm going to do with this one, but this one, because I'd put a handle on, we decided I didn't need to learn how to do that again. Although, good God, I'm going to have to do it lots of times before I get proficient. There, that's pretty much it. So that then is day two's basket, and it's just like, I don't know, what would you put in there? As my friend once said, when someone said, what would you put in this thing? She said, anything smaller than the basket. So I can put anything in there. And it almost certainly end up being wool related. Because I do a lot of wool things here. Okay, that's that. Good. Excellent. So that's not bad for a 2-day workshop, is it? I particularly like this this willow here, which had the bark on still, because the tips were very, very black. Yeah, I really like that one. And then this is simple, this edge here, for what you would call the cast off, I suppose. And then this one here is a slightly different one. So, oh, this wool smells great. Really nice. Okay, so because it seems like I've just got to learn how to make everything under the sun, yesterday I went to my pottery class, and I brought back this time's haul of pottery. Now, I've been going to pottery for a while. It was one of the things that I decided I would do for my challenge of 60 things in my 60th year. I got to about half of them, but pottery was one of them, and it's the one that I've kept going with most of all. So this light coloured willow is called Buff. Well, this clay is called Buff. So, and it's a stoneware clay. Lots of people at pottery like doing lots of different things. That's what I love about creative places. So some people like to hand build. Some people like to make tiles and decorate. for me, I like to throw. I like to go on the wheel and throw shapes. Now, my aim is to make two things the same size. That's not happened yet. However, what I've discovered is that if I make these things with this buff clay and then dip them in the same glaze, this is oatmeal white. So I make the pot, it gets carefully trimmed the following week. Then it gets biscuit fired, which is where it goes from being hard clay to being, properly fired pottery. But then it gets glazed and it gets the second firing. So I like to use the oatmeal, the white oatmeal. So I glaze them all in white oatmeal, which is basically pour it in from a jug, swish it round, tip it out, and then dip the rim in the glaze like so. So that means that although they're all different shapes and sizes, completely different shapes and sizes, they all look like they belong together because they've all got the same glaze on. See how that's clever? So this is this time's haul. This is quite I did a bit of a foot on that one. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. It's just whatever comes off the wheel. And then this is a shape that I like throwing. And this one here, these are little, well, they're supposed to be honey pots. Lids is something I've got to try and master. Haven't quite mastered the art of throwing a lid that fits on there. They'd be much more useful with lids. But again, you can see, can't you, that because they're all thrown the same and dipped the same, they all look like they belong together, even though none of them are the same. But that's a useful one for putting a little bit of butter in. That I could possibly drink out of that one, maybe, I don't know. This is a good cereal bowl. That one you could put a bit of hummus in, who knows? See, got to get creative with how you think you're going to use them. But until I get better at throwing consistently, and that means that I have to, well, I do weigh the clay. I weigh the clay so that I've got 700 grams for throwing a bowl, for instance. And then on the wheel, I have to set a guide like that, so that when I know I've got to the right height, I've got to the right width, and then I know that that pot is it's going to be the same as that pot, which it isn't. Because I was having to play with rims on this day, wasn't I? These were probably thrown on different days, and I was playing around with how to make rolled rims on that day. So it's all playing, lots and lots of playing, and I have got rather a lot of pots. This is, I just had my breakfast on this one, and this is the same buff clay. I just put a big K on the bottom so that when they come out the kiln I know they're mine. And this one is the same white oatmeal glaze, so that if you had your breakfast, with your toast on there and your cereal in there, you'd think like they were the same, wouldn't you? Because the glaze is the same. Anyway, that's broken my 10-minute rule by many, 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 many minutes. Next week is a busy old week. There's loads going on in the garden. Unbelievable what's going on in the garden with the raised beds and all the plans for the autumn sowing. Try to get a hustle on if I'm going to do any autumn sowing, because it's going to be winter, isn't it? So the garden's going great. I'm up and down the M6 to my mum and dad a lot, which means I get to stop at Tea Bay, which is a very nice service station that does very nice coffee, and they get to know me now. I take my reusable coffee cup with me, and it's over there somewhere, and it's got a parrot on it, and they know the parrot rather than me. Anyway, too long. Tonight I'm going to my nephew and his wife's house, which is 3 hours drive away. Everything's 3 hours drive from me, isn't it? It's because I live so far north. Well, anyway, Anthony is the best curry cook you'll ever meet, and we're having a curry. It's going to be fantastic. So I might take her a pot to put the pickle in. It's a good idea, isn't it? Anyway, baskets, spinning, pottery. What's she doing now? Thanks for watching. Catch up with you again soon. Bye.